Who is the biggest star in boxing? Tank Davis. Enjoying the beat of the game is Miami resident hip-hop star influencer Ruby Rose.
Understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo.
Wait, I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
The face-off between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis on Netflix Uncut quickly turned intense, capturing everyone's attention. The energy was electric as Tank suddenly shoved Jake during the stare-down, proving this fight carries real emotion beyond the hype. The two traded words immediately after, their faces showing both confidence and frustration. Many viewers noted how small Tank looked next to Jake, calling the size difference surprising. Still, others believe height and build won't matter much, arguing that skill and timing could make this a fair fight.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm gonna fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Facts.
Correct.
Yes. Correct.
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Teddy Atlas, the veteran boxing trainer and commentator known for his sharp takes, broke down the Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis face-off and immediately zeroed in on the size difference. To him, it wasn't just noticeable, it was massive. Atlas said Jake towered over Tank, joking that the smaller man would need a ladder just to reach Jake's chin. While he acknowledged that boxing is built on skill, timing, and willpower, he emphasized that physical dimensions can't be ignored when the gap is this extreme. He compared it to Canelo Alvarez moving up to fight Terence Crawford, pointing out that despite the weight jump, they still looked evenly matched. In this case, however, Atlas felt the size disparity was simply too great. Davis may have experience and explosive power, but against someone as big and strong as Jake Paul, Atlas saw the fight as mismatched from the start.
They should also have like the size of the ring, the size of the glove, all that stuff. Particulars should be in the contract, but I would probably look for one thing that is not the common thing to have in a contract if I'm Tank. A ladder. A ladder. Can I get a ladder? Somebody? You know what I mean? Hey, look, if he hits him on the chin the way he can punch, Jake might be doing a dance, you know what I mean? Not voluntarily either. But we'll get into that more later. The thing that I'm talking about right here is what you said. It was stark. The size difference was really, you couldn't ignore it. We understand the talent difference, the experience difference. We understand all of that. But the size, the pure, and we understand small guys can beat big guys. We just saw Crawford do it to Canelo, but a little different. The size difference was, it was eye-catching, jaw-dropping, and it made me think. And I'm going to ask Richie, our man here who's doing all the taping, who does such a marvelous job. I'm going to ask him because I know he's an expert in this area. But it reminded me of one of the Rocky movies where they had the face, where they did the wrestling thing with Rocky and Hulk Hogan, a.k.a. Thunderlips. He was Thunderlips back there. And I thought I had it right, and it was confirmed to me. It's Rocky.
Greg Hackett, a respected boxing coach and trainer, shared his thoughts on Gervonta Davis's mindset and expressed full confidence in Tank's approach. According to Hackett, Davis isn't easily swayed by the noise or the hype coming from Jake Paul's promotional team. He said Tank knows exactly what he wants and how to get it. Reports from the gym suggest Davis has been training with laser focus, showing no signs of taking his opponent lightly. Sparring partners described him as sharp, relentless, and pushing himself harder than ever.
Try to keep you fresh and this and that, keep your name hot. You got to stay in the algorithms. It's just a lot of pressure on fighters. And I feel like Tank being at what is he, 30 years old, and you got kids. See, what people forget about is it come a time in a man's life where he just wants to slow down. You know what I'm saying? We can't all run around like we used to back in the day. I mean, that's tough to do. Sometimes you just want to sit down, enjoy your fruits, and I feel like that could be what he going through. He want to just enjoy the fruits of his labor and enjoy life. And people don't want to hear that because they feel like you got more work to do. But it's his.
Observers at media events also noticed how calm and composed Gervonta Davis appeared, focused yet steady, fully aware of what's at stake. For Tank, this fight isn't about fame or paychecks. It's about making a statement that he can shine on any stage, under any spotlight, and still perform like the elite fighter he is. A victory here could push his name further into the mainstream, earning him the kind of spotlight YouTubers and influencers enjoy, while proving that real skill still outweighs spectacle.
You can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and
Eddie Chambers, a former heavyweight who later turned to coaching, offered a more balanced take on the Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup. He reminded fans that boxing history is filled with smaller fighters toppling bigger opponents. Chambers argued that focusing solely on size overlooks what truly wins fights: timing, experience, and technique. He pointed to past examples where disciplined, intelligent fighters used superior ringcraft to beat stronger rivals. In his view, Jake's height and reach might give him an early edge, but Davis's explosive footwork and tactical awareness could quickly erase that advantage. Chambers emphasized that fights aren't decided by measurements, but by execution under pressure. He concluded that while Jake's physical edge is clear, Tank's precision and instincts could still make him the more dangerous man once the bell rings.
Media, this is what is created. There's a lane that Jake Paul has created. Honestly, I'm not mad at him for it. It's gotten a lot of fighters and, actual fighters some shine. It also has done for women's boxing a lot. So I'm not mad at him for what he's been in boxing and what he's created. This is a little crazy right here. This is a little crazy. And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from him. And it ain't going to be easy to hit him. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out. So there's nothing that Jake Paul can do aside from make it extremely ugly by grabbing him and probably trying to throw him to the ground. I don't know what else, bite him. I don't know, but I mean, the skill level alone. Now, of course, there is a size difference, a height difference and all that, but he's just going to struggle so much landing a shot. It's just going to look bad. To me, this is the way I see it. It's going to look bad. Tank is going to be too fast. And the punch, I believe, I'm not saying it's going to knock him out or,
Timothy Bradley, the former champion turned analyst, showed full confidence in Gervonta Davis, calling the fight easy money for Tank. Bradley based his view on the clear gap in professional experience between the two. He noted that Davis has spent years battling elite opponents who understand the pace and danger of true championship boxing, while Jake Paul has only faced a handful of professionals, many of them retired athletes or crossover names. Though Bradley credited Jake for his dedication and for bringing new eyes to the sport, he insisted that stepping in with Tank is a completely different level. Davis's ring IQ, timing, and composure make him far more seasoned. Bradley believes the fight will highlight the difference between natural-born fighters and late arrivals to the game. In his eyes, Tank's experience gives him a decisive advantage, and Jake's lack of depth will become painfully clear once real punches start to land.
It ain't fixed, because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size. Hell no, I told y'all it's the size of the heart, right? In that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said,
Paulie Malignaggi, a former world champion and boxing analyst, didn't hold back in his criticism of Gervonta Davis, claiming Tank's career has been both overprotected and underchallenged. Malignaggi argued that Davis hasn't faced truly dangerous opponents or proven himself against the best in his division. In his view, Tank's reputation is built more on highlight reel knockouts and selective matchmaking than genuine competition. His remarks echo a larger debate in boxing over whether Davis has tested himself against enough elite fighters. While fans praise his skill, speed, and knockout power, critics like Paulie maintain that true greatness comes from taking risks against top-tier opponents. Still, despite the skepticism, Davis remains one of boxing's biggest attractions, his talent undeniable, even as his resume continues to spark debate.
He admits that Tank is the biggest name in Western boxing, so doesn't even make sense. Listen again.
Boxing, either the fans have gone down to the dumbest level possible, or the media themselves have gone down to the dumbest level possible for
See, so he's already trying to roast the fans and anybody who says Tank's the face of boxing. Basically calling people dumb, right? Oldest trick in the book. But then he says, I understand that Tank is probably the biggest name in the West.
Naming this guy as the face of boxing. I understand we don't have anything. The fact that
I understand we don't have anything. Keep listening.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name in the West at the moment.
Maybe this is the biggest marquee name at the moment in the West. He is the biggest name in the West. Name somebody bigger, right? Point blank, period. So you're off to a bad start. Name calling, then you're acting like you don't understand it whilst mentioning he's the biggest name in boxing, and you're saying it's disturbing. Why is it disturbing?
It's certainly disturbing, but it also shows you that you can make anything.
Recent reports suggest that Gervonta Davis may be considering retirement after this high-profile clash. Sources close to his camp claim Tank's focus has shifted from chasing legacy to securing financial freedom. The fight against Jake Paul is expected to deliver one of the biggest paydays of his career, enough to let him walk away on his own terms. Observers view this as a smart, calculated move rather than an emotional one. Having already won world titles and built a massive fan base, Davis might feel he has nothing left to prove. Still, fans are split on whether this talk of retirement is genuine or simply another tactic to build hype.
What you make it. Again, there's nothing wrong with Tank going to get his money, but let's all be clear that that's all the fight is for Tank. He's telling you without telling you that he's fighting Jake just because he's getting $40 million. So when we talk about boxing being dead, Tank has to line up at the front of the line. I can't blame him, but don't throw around, oh, boxing's dead and people switch sides and all of that. You chose not to be great. That's it. You chose not to be great. Stuff like that, choices like that will kill boxing, for sure. On a competitive level, it won't kill it on a business level. On a business level, until people run out of interest in these kind of matchups, it'll do well. On a competitive level, choosing not to fight the best will kill the sport. So maybe it's better if people like Tank aren't in the sport. And I don't even say that because I want that to be the case. I think Tank is ridiculously talented, but you can't want a fighter to fight more than what they want to. You can't. Tank fans or Tank people that like Tank and think he's one of the best, you can't want it for him. And then Shakur came back with, that's how I know you soft. I can't even go back and forth with you soft ass. You rather pop to me on social media than get in that fire and get embarrassed. I get it. Peace and blessings upon you, cuz. He says, the people got your chest out so bad. You talking like you a killer, forgetting that you the one that runs, bitch. I'll be bring the fight to you. This dude, a made-up character. Quote, blessings upon you. Clown-ass dude, wanna be Kevin Gates? Oh my goodness. I mean, here's the thing though. You can't say that stuff about Shakur if you're not willing to fight him. This is the point I think that we're going to come to today, is that Tank can say all this stuff he wants, but if you're not willing to fight Shakur, then none of it means anything anymore. Even if you believe that Tank is going to knock him out, even if you believe that Shakur's a runner, or that he's not in the trenches, or he's not a boxer that's willing to bring the fight, or whatever, none of it matters. You're talking from the sideline because you won't fight him. What does that say about
Showbiz the Adult, a boxing commentator and YouTube analyst, offered a more balanced take, recognizing both the positives and negatives of Jake Paul's boxing journey. He credited Jake for reigniting public interest in the sport, especially among younger and casual fans who rarely followed traditional boxing. By leveraging his massive online influence, Jake has turned boxing promotions into global entertainment events, bringing the sport to millions of new viewers. However, Showbiz also acknowledged the ongoing criticism of Jake's matchmaking, as many in the boxing world believe he steered clear of opponents who match his size or skill level.
Boxing is going to sing his praises like a hero. Though Jake Paul is definitely appreciated by the boxing world when it comes to what he is giving to the sport, especially women's boxing, okay? I mean, it goes without saying that Jake Paul, an MVP, has added to the sport of boxing. But Jake Paul, the fighter, people are over his shit. There's a huge amount of boxing pugilists in the boxing community who's over his shit. And if Gervonta Tank Davis stops that, if he is the one who stops this whole train, knocking out Jake Paul, he will become a boxing hero. People will then say, now get the hell out the sport. And I'm talking about from a fighter's perspective. That's what they're going to say. Now, it's not going to go on either one of their official records because it's an exhibition. But it doesn't matter because optically, visually, seeing that go viral, and I mean go viral, and Jake Paul will never hear the end of it.
We're going to have to help you up. We're going to have to help you up.
We're going to see about it.
Help you up.
We're going to...
Because Gervonta Tank Davis is not only a real boxer, he's a real boy. He's 5'5". He's a lightweight. Skills pay the bills. Let him knock out Jake Paul, give him Bambi legs, or knock him down. Gervonta Tank Davis, that moment will go viral, and he will be a far bigger, well-known boxer than he is today, and he will also be a hero.
Daniel Cormier, the former UFC champion and respected sports analyst, delivered a blunt critique of the upcoming Jake Paul vs. Gervonta Davis fight. He argued that the matchup feels more like a business move than a true sporting contest. Cormier questioned the reasoning behind it, noting that Tank isn't fighting out of he called it boring, not because of the fighter's skills, but because the outcome feels too predictable. To him, the event seems built more for social media buzz and attention than for boxing's credibility. Cormier's comments echoed the frustration of many traditional fans who believe entertainment-driven fights are overshadowing real competition. Still, his take adds depth to the discussion, emphasizing how this matchup blurs the line between sport and spectacle, where fame and money now rival skill and legacy.
Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him.
Yes.
He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the reason why
He's been a world
taking
champion so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Suleiman was very upset that he wasn't going to be able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of the time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis's last fight was at 136 pounds.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you in the next one.